Okay, so this scripture today is like briefly on Revelations 9. I was reading earlier. I was reading Revelations earlier, and I was reading it, and what caught my eye was one scripture. But however, there are multiple scriptures that I want to read you guys in order to update. It just caught my eye that it was saying that in those days, this is Revelations 9 verse 6, in those days men will be hoping for death, and it will not come to them, and they will have a great desire for death, and death will go in flight from them. And I had skimmed past verse 1 through 5, and that one just caught my eye, because I'm like, a lot of people right now have stuff going on, and it makes you wonder death. It makes you wonder, if I wasn't here, would this be happening? Or about suicide or mental health issues and things like that. So that's what really caught my eye, but it has absolutely nothing to do with the scripture, so to speak, because in Revelations they're talking about these angels opening up these scrolls and the things that will happen in the last days. Verse 1 through 5, and at the sounding of the fifth angel I saw a star falling from heaven to the earth, and there was given to him the key of the great deep, and he made the great deep open, and the smoke went up from it like the smoke of a great oven, and the sun and the air were made dark because of the smoke. And from the smoke locusts came out on the earth, and power was given them, like the power of scorpions, and they were ordered to do no damage to the grass of the earth, or any green thing, or any tree, but only to such men as have not the mark of God on their brows. And orders were given them not to put them to death, but to give them great pain for 5 months. And their pain was as the pain from the wound of scorpions. And in those days, men will be hoping for death, and it will not come to them. And they will have a great desire for death, and death will go in flight from them. I know some of you are desiring death, and we defeat that right now. I want to speak to that right now, because there are moments in life that you think it's over with. There's no way to actually recompense your life or bring upon the plans that God had for you. Because I was just saying that the other day. I was in the hospital and I was feeling kind of down. I'm like, I had looked up and there was a picture that said, Jeremiah 29:11, and that usually gets me going, to know that God has a plan for me that is good and not evil. But then there's other people that have plans for you as well. The enemy does set up attacks, plans, snares, destruction, and death, and he wants you to be defeated because you're a child. Only off the mere fact that you're a child of God. Only off the mere fact that you choose to follow Christ. It has no other reason or meaning behind it. And you may say, Lord, I didn't do anything. Lord, why me? Lord, this is not what I signed up for. This is not my yeah. But when most of us said our yeah, we said our yeah to everything that God was offering. It, whether good or bad, we said yeah to it. And the other day I was thinking that too, like I said my yeah, so I need to stand strong in my yeah. My yeah means in those embarrassing moments, in those bad moments, in those lost moments, in those moments where I just don't know what to do, anything but to just call on God, in those moments where I feel empty, in those moments where I feel powerless. God is there and he's present. If he told you to do it and you say yeah, and he's going to supply your need every day of the week, every day of the year. He's going to make sure, regardless, and it may not look like what you thought it would look like when he supplies your need. Like you think him supplying your need, I'm going to get this and this and this by your plans. But God has a different plan for you, and it prospers you. It brings you upon the way in which he prepared for you. And I was just thinking that the other day, like, okay, I'm going to stay in position, because there's a lot of stuff in life that tries to get you out of position in your place that God has put you in. God placed us in a place of peace as children of God. And if we stay in our position, because there's going to be opposition that's going to come up against you. I'm going to let you know that now. There's going to be opposition that's going to come up against you. I think when we first become a Christian, people give us sugar plums and cherries, and we think everything's nice. And then you get all distraught when something happens and you think it's God, but it's really not God, So to say, don't let death come near you. Don't let death defeat you. And that's what this scripture was saying. For 5 months, people will go in despair. For 5 months, they will think about death. For 5 months, they will be going through something that's similar to suicidal thoughts. And God will continue to keep you in that. And if you have the mark of God, the love of God, the peace of God, and the joy of God, if you continuously read your word, I was just doing that this morning. I was reading my word and I saw that, regardless of what we're going through, regardless of the days that we skipped out on God, regardless of the days where we stopped reading our Bible or stopped praying, God will show up when you call him. And I was looking at that this morning, like he really, showed up when I was like, okay, I wonder if he will come now, and it's just those moments where you're down and you want God to do what you want him to do, but he's still trying to get you to do what he needed you to do. So in those moments of revelation where the birth pains are kicking in and you don't know where to turn to or what hope to put your hope in, you can only put it in the Lord, in his word. I have found that, there's nothing else. When you get to the nitty gritty of it all, when you get to the bottom of the barrel, when you get rock bottom, there's nothing else there but the Lord just waiting on you. Like I was here waiting all along. So waiting for you to call out on him and expect from him. Much love. Be blessed, guys. Love.